Well, good evening and welcome to the MCFC 9320 PUBcast. And tonight there is just myself and Paddy, you lucky people, and welcome to everybody in the chat. Andy is in his usual haunt of Benidorm and probably out with Grealish on the lash. Looking at the video of Grealish on Friday night at Oasis, I'd say he's been well. He was well on the lash on Friday. And good to see Pep there on Friday as well, singing along with his daughter and enjoying himself. Now it's going to be a free-for-all tonight. There's not much happening with City. So we're just going to, it's just going to be free and easy. And if you've got any questions you want to throw at us or anything like that, then, or if anybody would like to join us on the panel, I can post the link here. Come and join us. You'd be more than welcome. So tonight it can be about anything. Myself and Paddy were just discussing Nottingham Forest making a few enemies at the minute. Looking at taking legal action against Spurs. I think Liverpool played a friendly today against Preston, which from all accounts was a very emotional affair. Yes, house captain, I did say it was going to be free and easy. Maybe not the right choice of words, but let's start by having a bit of a chat with Paddy. And how are things with you, Paddy?
Not too bad. I saw that Jack Grealish video. Jesus, he was a pitiful sight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't get it. He really doesn't get it. I know he's thinking I'm the first to defend him and stuff like that. But if you're trying to find a new club or you're trying to worm your way back into Pep's plans, attending a concert where he's at, pissed drunk, where you can barely string a sentence together, I don't know if that's the right look.
I don't think it's the right look. But what do we know, Paddy?
I think there's possibly a lot more, Emery, that's gone on behind the scenes that we don't know about. That's why the club have taken the action they've taken.
I'd say so. But he isn't helping himself at all, is he? On the one hand, he's posting stuff where he's training on his own, in a way trying to make himself look good. And then the next time we're seeing him, he's off his face, tanked up. And I know it's, his free time and he can do what he wants. I appreciate that. But he's just not, I don't believe he's helping himself.
That's like, there's no, where people get confused, I think, is the ability that he has is out of this world. Jack Grealish is an absolute brilliant player. Like, I was going to say world class, but maybe not there yet. He's carrying less than 10% body fat, obviously. I know that because I work in that kind of industry. But it's a mindset problem with Jack. Like, he has it all. All he has to do is apply himself for the next 5 or 6 years, and he could be one of the top pros in the world. But it's like, I'll do it when I want to do it, and then the rest of the time I'm going to eat kebabs and drink fucking beer and drink whatever and be pissed. You can't do that as an absolute elite athlete. You can't do it, I'm afraid. You just can't. And I don't know what he was thinking, and I'd be the first to defend Jack Grealish all day, every day. But when I seen that, I thought, Jesus Christ, what are you actually doing? Like, if you're a chairman of another club and you're looking at that, and let's not kid ourselves. Football's a very small world. People know what's happening within each club because players meet in international duty and they talk, and they're friends. They've come up through the ranks together, so they know what's going on within each club. But I'd say Jack's been on the lash more times than not. That's why the city have taken the decision to offload him.
Yeah, I think you could well be right. And it's a shame because this isn't just impacting his playing career, it's affecting his international selection as well. He isn't getting picked.
There's a reason.
Well, exactly, there is a reason. And whether it's just because he's not playing for City at the minute, but surely if he was up to it, they could call him into the squad and see how he performs in training. Which they've done with other players in the past. And I just think it's a shame for him. But I think what we're seeing is the end of Jack's time at City. And I know his video says that, he loves City fans because they're the best in the whole world. But it's easy to say that, isn't it?
It's easy to see that when you're pissed out of your head.
Yeah.
But I don't think the City might get him out the doors, but they'll definitely be paying his wages, or I'd say 75% of them. There's nobody going to be paying Jack Reedy's his wages if he's out and home. And then again, who can afford to buy him?
Well, there's that. But we're seeing lots of that at the minute. It's like, we've got, if you just look at United at the minute, they've got 5 players that they've basically told not to come in for pre-season to give them time to find themselves a new club. Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, was it Malacia? And I can't remember who the 5th one is.
Yeah, but what again, there's a common theme there, Emery. It's a mindset. Yeah. Rashford could have been out of this world. Sancho could have been out of this world.
Sancho, that's the 5th one, yeah.
Garnacho could have been out of this world. They just chose not to. It's a mindset thing. Either you have it or you don't. You can't learn that. That has to be.
No, but if you believe what the media are saying, they're saying, like for Rashford, it's pretty much lined up for him to go to Barcelona. But I can't see Barcelona paying his 350 grand a week wages. But I could be completely wrong.
You would think at this stage of Rashford's career, with all the zeros he would have in the bank account, if United give him a sweetener to piss off and go to Barcelona, then sign for Barcelona, he could play for Barcelona for 200,000 a week because his money's made. Same with Jack Grealish.
I think it's the same, could the same be said for some others as well? There's a lot of them, not just at City or United, but that would be looking to move on. And really, their money's made, so it shouldn't be an issue of what they're going to get paid every week.
It would be, Marie, if they dug their heels in and they kind of resisted the move and thinking like, no, like why am I surplus the requirements? If they had the attitude that there's worse players in that squad than me, what are you getting rid of me for? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to sit tight and collect my dough. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing. They can't do anything about it. They're like, there's an expectation of goodwill from the player when the club makes their mind up. Look, like it's fine just for a club to say, "Oh, find another club." That's the player has power, all the power in that situation. Like the days of putting the player into the reserves and letting them rot in reserves, they're gone. You don't do that to a £350,000 a week player. Them days are by the by. They're not coming back.
No,
City
but
would actually this.
It's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, let's just look at Arsenal and the sporting fella they're after. Is it Gyökeres? I think that's how you pronounce his name. And they want at least £69 million for him, which is fair enough. And he's not gone into training, so they're looking at taking disciplinary action against him.
Do you know clubs, like, and you mentioned Forest before at the start of the show, the Forest and that Sporting, wherever your man's playing for, they're all a bunch of hypocrites. They all do the very same things themselves. They all approach players on the side and say, here, look, come play for us. What's your release clause, or what's this, or what's that? Give us the finer details. If they want to come, that is. And then they disclose that information, or their agent discloses it. And a bid goes in, and the buying club can turn around and say to the player or the agent, tell him not to turn up for training, tell him not to turn up for a match, tell him not to do this, tell him not to do that, forced to move. All clubs do it. So the next to Forest and this other crowd kind of rearing up and throwing their dummy out of the pram because it's happening to them. Tough. What goes around comes around.
It's a really interesting one though. Just going back to the Forest one. That they're looking at taking legal action because for two reasons. One, they're saying the player was tapped up, which, I honestly believe happens day in, day out anyway. And that his supposedly confidential release clause is now not so confidential. So who informed Tottenham of what it was?
Well, there's two things in that. Taking a player to court or taking Tottenham to court over making complaints to Premier League because the player has been tapped up. It'd be very easy to find out what Nottingham Forest are up to. So that wouldn't be an advisable road to go down. That's only smoke. That's only noise. The release clause or the buyout clause, there's a whole department within that football team, admin staff that know that price, plus the agent, plus the player, plus the managers, plus other players, because they all talk. So unless you're going to do a Colleen Rooney on it and narrow it down to one person, drip feed information down to one person, they can't prove it.
I think it's very dangerous ground for Nottingham Forest to be on in taking this or looking at taking this kind of action, because ultimately they're going to make enemies within the Premier League because of this. I don't think it's necessarily the right action to take, in the grand scheme of things.
If you look what that chairman did, was it at the end of the season he came onto the pitch and he bollocked the manager because he never made it into Europe, whatever, and they barred they banned Gary Neville, didn't they, at the end of the season? They were supposed to commentate in the match. All that shows you what you're dealing with, But being a hothead, being explosive, being reactive as a chairman of a football club, it doesn't work.
No, I think there's no place for it. And I understand the frustration of the chairman, but ultimately, if his side were good enough, they were in that third spot for so long, they should have held on to it if they were good enough. And the bottom line is they weren't good enough. And they've got into Europe. Yeah, it might not have been the competition they wanted to, but now they've properly landed on the feet, because I think it's still not confirmed, but it's looking likely that they'll take Crystal Palace's place in the Europa League, and Palace will end up in the Conference League, which is. But it's all. I mean, Palace, no more than Nottingham Forest, should be just grateful to be in Europe, full stop, whatever the competition. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just that that's the level they're at normally. Forest had a very fortunate season that, we were playing the way we were. Chelsea dropped off. Arsenal really weren't as good as they thought they were, and things like that. So it made it, and you just look at Tottenham and United. Did anybody predict, or could anybody have predicted at the start of last season that they would finish just above the relegation zone? I don't think so.
At least Spurs are doing something about it. Wrestling, aren't they? They're after saying they're trying to get Morgan Gibbs White and the what do you call that other fellow they signed? Can't think his name now. Jesus. But they got them two players, and they're two fairly good players,
But what I don't understand is, all right, we don't know whether Morgan Gibbs White is going to go. I think he probably will. But Forest, in the position they're in, if they want to continue from last season, you'd wonder why they would want to let some of their best players go, like Elanga, like Morgan Gibbs White. It just seems a bit of a strange move.
Money, you have to balance the books. This PSR, as they call it now, it's a stranglehold for every one of the clubs.
Apart from Chelsea, it would appear.
Well, they got fined.
Yeah, but that wasn't the PSR, was it? That was UEFA.
That's UEFA's version of it.
Yeah, but within this country, within the Premier League, they've yet to be fined on it. And yet they're going out, they're continuing to spend a serious amount of money, not really letting anyone go, and have quite a huge squad, and yet seem to be within the realms of PSR each season, which I find hard to believe.
They keep selling hotels to themselves. They keep selling the female football to themselves. But that's time limited. You can only get away with that crack for so long before it comes back to bite you.
Yeah.
You can't magic numbers out of fresh air. That's what annoys people about us. We're so good at it. I think it's probably about 6-7 years since we've made a loss or broke even. I think
but our academy has helped out greatly with that, hasn't it, Paddy? That was one thing we've definitely got right.
That's the thing that they used to use against us, all the red cartel, was net spend. And then when we started beating them in that, now you never hear net spend again. You don't hear one mention of it now.
No.
That academy was well researched. It was well thought out. It was always going to be a conveyor belt, always, with the added bonus of one or two every few years making it into the first team. But it was always, and they were quite clear about it, they were going to copy the Barcelona model. If they didn't make it at ours, they would sell them on and they'd make it somewhere else. And they'd make, number one, City would turn them into a footballer. And number two, they would get money for doing it. And much they have done. We all know there's 5 or 6 of them in the Chelsea team alone, I think.
Yeah, and if you look, McAtee's going to go for a minimum of 25 million.
City want 40.
Well, the rumour is 25 million at the minute, but it will be more than that, I would think. And there's lots of clubs interested in him. So I think
he's going to Germany, is he?
Well, there's a German club after him. There's a few in this country after him. So I think it'll end up coming down to the player really, and depending on what the other clubs offer. You know, it's going to be an interesting few weeks, I think, ahead of us. You know, I mean, I don't know about you, Paddy. Do you think our spending's over this summer?
I don't know how. You see, you can't listen to what you see online. Not that I follow any of the Muppets anyway, but some people I do follow retweet stuff from time to time. But there's some for is it Dumfries, the Holland player, the right back?
Yeah, I've seen that.
They're supposed to be linked with him. If they got him in, that'd be the icing and cake for me. But I think Pep is stubborn enough. He'll stick me in us. But it's the outgoings I'd be more interested in, because Pep says the squad is too big.
Yeah. Well, see, House Captain seems to think we'll have at least one more signing. I think we'll have at least one more signing as well.
You think it right back or where?
I think it will be right back. I think it has to be. I think we have to have. We have to have a definitive right back. The same as we've gone out and bought a proper left back. We have to have a proper right back as well. It's not fair on the likes of Lewis or Nunes to keep putting them in that position, because if something goes wrong, they're just going to, even if it's not their fault, they're the targets for the abuse. And I think, you know, obviously we know that that's not necessarily the way it should be.
We've seen that for the years with players. They always do that.
Yeah.
You know, Walker, Sterling, your favourite, Mahrez.
Indeed.
It's just the way fans are, unfortunately. You know, they need somebody to blame, and they pick somebody, and then if you convince them God Almighty, they wouldn't take your word for it.
No.
Because they're kind of entrenched in their beliefs that, he's the cause of our problems. But wouldn't it be lovely? They get a specialised right back, because it would complete that team.
Yeah, it would, and I think that's what we're crying out for, because I think we've got the basis there of an exciting team for this season. It's encouraging, and I think, you know, we also know that if we do bring one in, we know that there's going to be, I think, at least 3 leaving. Maybe even more, but I think I see at least 3 leaving. You know, I think Jack's going, no question.
And I think McAtee will be a question. That's true.
Yeah. And then the third one for me is either going to be a defender, or it could be Gundogan.
No, the Gundogan will be staying after his year extension, and he'll be joining the Pep's backroom staff.
Do you think? There's a lot of talk about him going to Turkey, isn't there?
No, ain't happening. You know, so he said it himself. He's already coached the youth teams. His plan is to develop under, like he says, when he joined Man City, he thought he knew about football, and he says he on Pep, he quickly learned that he didn't know the first thing about football. So he'll be joining the backroom team, I'm afraid.
So Steve thinks thick chips, which I'm presuming is Dumfries, in at right back. And Gundo, Cover, McAtee, and Jack out.
what has Matteo done to be thrown out?
He's getting older, Paddy.
Yeah, but like he can do a job. You know what I mean? Like when it gets a bit rough and ready, and you need to steady the ship, Cobb is your man. Get him in there. Like you need somebody who's a bit spicy. I know that the new boys are all flary and all this crack, and they're great, and they can pass a ball and they can do this and they can. But you want probably this is me probably being a dinosaur, to be honest with you. I like to see put the boot in a leveler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just let them know you're there.
Like Nigel de Jong.
Yes. One of my favorite players. like to see it going in, but you see, it's all flair now with Pep, isn't it? It's all kind of. But like apart from the gun not going anywhere, people have to get that in their head. Gundogan isn't going anywhere. He actually instigated the year extension. He's done his B license. He's in the process of doing his A license, I think. So he's not going anywhere. Only in the Pep's backroom staff. And believe it or not, Gundogan has a football brain. We've seen it on the pitch, and he's known for it within the team as a communicator and what he does. So he's not going. He'd have a quieter season this season coming forward. There's no two ways about it. He won't be in the team as much, but it's his experience that he'll be there for, almost like Scott Carson.
Oh well, we've lost Scott now. He's gone.
Do you see how tough it is? Like say, like Steve's 4 players there. Realistically, there's only 2 of them going to go.
Possibly.
There's a lot of variables that will dictate if Jack Grealish leaves or not.
It's going to be interesting. We know that there's going to be outgoings over the next few weeks. We know that.
When does the window close?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think
the chap know when the window close.
Well, normally it'd finish at like the 31st of August on a normal year, but with it being open twice, if you like, I'm not sure whether it's the same thing.
I don't think it's been a normal year since COVID, have there?
Well, no, but we don't normally have 2 transfer windows, do we?
No, that was for the World.
Yes,
Club World Cup, whatever they have.
The final of that's on tonight. Chelsea against PSG.
I can only see one winner there.
Well, that's all I can see. Can see Chelsea getting an absolute hammering.
I can see they're going to get stuffed. I think they're going to get a lesson. And he's the ex-Barcelona manager, isn't he? The PSG manager, he managed Barcelona, didn't he?
Yeah.
Pep's friend.
Oh, the 1st of September at 7:00. The transfer window closes. So there's a long time to go yet.
A very long time.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting few months.
So the league would have started 2 weeks, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the same every year. It's crazy.
Yes, I thought they were going to stop that. They were, but when the league stopped, the window was supposed to close beforehand. So, is the guys in the chat any questions?
Well, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Blue Heart, I wouldn't mind a Nigel de Jong, Vieira or Keane figure in our side. So Bite could do wonders.
But I'll tell you, Rodri's not shy of putting the
No,
goods
he
in.
isn't.
He's a bit more skillful, but his tackles are fairly goodly. Can Trafford be what?
Be convinced to be Ortega's replacement for one season and then a guarantee to replace Edison when his contract runs out next season. House captain, I think if rumours are to be believed, Newcastle are trying to buy Trafford from Burnley in this window. That's from what I can gather. That seems to be the case. And I don't think, if I'm honest, I don't think we'd bring him back from Burnley just to sit in reserve. And he's not the player we need in goal at the minute. But that's just my opinion.
That scenario that Hodge captain just painted there, I don't think Trafford is.
I don't think he's good enough. If I'm honest.
I don't think he'd ever be our number one ever.
No.
Not even under Stuart Pearce.
No.
No, that's a non-runner.
Just looking here. Oh, Steve, I think you might be drinking or on something. Think City will get rid of who I said and bring in Dumfries, Morgan, Gibbs-White. Can't see Rodrigo unless Savinho or Doku leave.
What?
Steve, there's no way Morgan Gibbs-White is coming to us. And Doku's going nowhere.
We have enough charges. We're fucking entertaining Forest lawsuit.
Yeah. And, there's rumours of Savinho maybe going out on loan, but he won't be going. He won't be sold. He won't be sold this window anyway. DC asks, has any club expressed interest in Grealish? There's been, again, DC, lots of rumours, and I think at one point, Napoli were showing an interest in him. I also think at one point Newcastle were kind of interested in him. But I don't think anybody's come in and made any kind of offer or anything for him at the minute. And it could be that we end up with Jack for another season. Who knows? And a lot will depend on his attitude and what he does with himself if he's not playing. But it's all ifs, buts and maybes at the minute.
But what thing, that may be the case about the ifs, buts and maybes. One thing you can be certain sure of it, the deal to take Jack Grealish out of Man City is going to be a very difficult one.
But don't forget, we've still got the likes of Calvin Phillips who's on our books.
Yeah, well, he'd be a straightforward 2 or 3 million. Good luck, Jack.
But again, as you know, we're coming back to this homegrown things.
Like what is the rule, Steve, around homegrown? How many homegrown players do they have to be in the squad?
I always thought it had to be 5.
So out of the squad size is 25, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to have 5 homegrown. So you have Nico Lewis.
I think. Yeah, you've got Rico Lewis. Yeah, Aki, because he came through the academy at Chelsea.
Stones, if he's staying.
Stones, Foden, and McAtee, and Jack.
McAtee couldn't go, and so is Jack. So.
Yeah, but then don't forget, you've got Nico O'Reilly.
Nico O'Reilly, Rico Lewis, Foden, Aki. Who else be classed as homegrown? Because you had Scott Carson, but he's gone.
Yeah.
So that's 4 plus Jack plus McAtee plus Calvin Phillips. That was 7. And there's 3 of them going to go, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but we don't know who they might bring up from the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong with 5. It might not be 5. That was just a guess.
I don't know.
Going back to what we were talking about, Trafford, Steve agrees with us. Trafford is not a City level.
No.
Bob's another one.
Oscar Bob?
Yeah.
Is he classed as homegrown?
Well, he's come through the academy, hasn't he?
Right. So that means McAtee and Grealish could leave, and you're left with 5.
Yeah. Blue Heart seems to think it's 8 homegrown.
Jeez, I don't know. We'll check it there.
But
it's a lot for the 25-man squad.
8 is a lot, yeah. I didn't think it was as many as 8.
See, you missed Stan for this now for the stat man.
I know Stan should be back with us in a few weeks, folks. I think in about 3 weeks.
Blue Hearts, right? 8.
Was it 8? I didn't think it was that many.
Yeah, maximum squad is 25, and at least 8 need to be homegrown. Jesus. That is a lot.
Thanks for that, Blue Heart.
I'm trying to think, does any 25-man squad meet that criteria?
It has to.
Well, depend how many players. I know Calvin Phillips definitely won't be in our books, and Kyle Walker's gone after him. Scott Carson has gone after him. So you could easily say if Jack did go and McAtee did go, and the squad then was down to say 21, 22, you could bring in 4 or 5 EDF and name them in the squad.
Yeah.
And that would cover that. But
yeah, House Captain makes a good point. He says you can see Stones and Aki staying to help with the homegrown issue.
Yeah, I think so. They won't have much choice. 8 players, Jesus. That's. I'd like to know, maybe someone in the chat there can do a bit of research. How many Man City players are in the squad at the minute? Actual players. Because it'd be very easy to do the sums once you have that information. Because there's definitely 2 in the EDS, that midfielder, and the the defender. But then they left your man go, the fella that they sent from West Ham, the striker, Davina or whatever you call him. They let him go. You see, that's the problem, Emery, when you have Holland and Mamouche now in the squad. Young strikers' pathway to the first team has been blocked.
Yeah.
You know, unless there's something absolutely out of this world phenomenal that the striker position at Man City is officially blocked.
No, well, I'm just looking at the team now, and we've got, if you look, goalkeeper, we've got Bentinelli, who we got from Chelsea.
Yeah, but he's
Edison.
not home.
No, Edison.
Right.
And Ortega.
That's 3 keepers, yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got Aitonori, Akanji, Nathan Aki, who's homegrown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diaz, Kushanov, Rico Lewis, Victor Hayes.
7.
Yeah. John Stones
8.
and Wilson Esbrand.
9. I think Wilson-Esbrand's gone, is he?
Well, he's still on the squad list that I'm looking at the minute. But I thought
Right.
he'd gone as well. But
Well, that's 12 now, and we haven't even gone into midfield yet.
yeah. Oscar Bob,
13.
Cherky,
14.
Doku,
15.
Echeverry,
16.
Foden,
17.
Grealish,
18.
Gundogan,
19.
Kovacic,
20.
McAtee,
21.
Nico,
22.
Nunes,
23.
O'Reilly,
24.
and like I say, this squad shows Maximo Peroni, and he's gone, hasn't he, or he's about to.
He's about to.
Calvin Phillips,
25.
Reinders,
26. Jesus.
Rodri,
27.
Savinho,
28.
Bernardo,
God, 29.
and then you've got Haaland and Mamouche.
31 players. Jesus.
So you can see why he needs to clear out.
Well, 6 has to go, either on loan or be sold.
Now, and that squad has come from the official City app. So it would suggest to me that Wilson Esbrand hasn't gone anywhere yet. If he's still showing up in the squad list.
I thought they sold him. I thought he was out on loan. I think they
did.
I thought they made the move permanent. But either way, Emery, there's 31 players in that squad. 6 of them have to go.
Well, they don't have to go. You can have a squad bigger than 25.
Yeah, but you can't play in the Premier League. You have to name the 25.
I know, but my understanding is that if they're under a certain age, that they can be in the squad but don't count as being in the 25, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's
there you go. 17 foreign players allowed and up to 8 homegrown. And as Staffy's saying, we've got too many foreigners.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, is it under 21?
I think it is under 21. That's why you can, it's like, even in some ways, it's like a free for all with our EDS lads.
Yeah, but the problem is, Emery, on them 31 players you just named, I don't think there's one under 21, is there?
I thought O'Reilly was under 21.
Yeah, he just had his 20th birthday, actually. Yeah. Jesus, that's...
Echeverry. I think he's under 21.
Yeah. But even if you took 3 off it, that's 28. You're still looking at getting rid of 2 or 3.
I know, but don't forget, we're fairly confident that there's 2 or 3 players going. So if you look, Jack, McAtee, and another.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips.
He's definitely gone there.
Yeah, well, there's the 3. And the problem with those 3 is that they're all homegrown players.
Yeah, and McAtee would be under 21 as well, wouldn't he?
I think he might be. There you go. And you've got, look at Simpson Pusey is under 21.
Yeah, but he's not anywhere near the first team, like. And
Well, he's been on the bench a couple of times.
That's when we were down to our bare bones.
Well,
I don't know. I definitely don't think offloading Jack Grealish is going to be as simple as people think. The numbers are big.
It's going to be. Look, none of us have got a clue. We don't know what's going on in the background. It's a sad state of affairs with Jack, and obviously there's there's something deep rooted there. And we just have to wish him the best. And maybe the best thing would be, time out from football for 12 months or...
No, it's time to destroy him. He needs to play.
I know, but the question is, we're not gonna play him, Paddy. I don't believe Pep's going to pick him ever again. So what do we do? It's going to be a
told. Do you know what I mean? He's been brought into the office and he's been told that. But it's amazing how, when you think of the video that Jack Grealish, that he didn't put it out. Obviously, it was some fellow with a mobile phone taped him. When he turned around and says he loves Man City, and what he loves more is the Man City fans. He's a boyhood hero of Aston Villa. He's Aston Villa. I think he is an Aston Villa fan through and through.
Well, it's one of those. If it was an Aston Villa fan videoing him, he'd have said the same thing to them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, no City fan turned on him. But they all turned on Kyle Walker for saying he wanted the one league with Tottenham.
think people just expected more from Kyle Walker being the club captain. I think that's part of it.
But they're at the end of the day, they're players, and they have their own feelings, they have their own emotions, they have their own beliefs. It mightn't necessarily tie into ours, But for Jack Greedy to try and say, "Oh, he loves Man City fans," he's an Aston Villa man. He's Aston Villa through and through. Has been all his life and always will be.
Yeah, but Paddy, it's an awkward one, isn't it? It's like, look at Jamie Carragher. And I don't like the fella. I've got no time for him. But he was brought up an Everton fan. And if you asked him now who he supported, and this is worse kind of treachery for me, he'd say he was a Liverpool fan.
Do you know why?
Because they paid his wages.
Well, there's more money to be got aligned to Liverpool than there is to be aligned with Everton.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
But as a fan, I'd disrespect him more because of that. Because you can't just change your allegiance in a derby like that.
Geez. No, not a hope.
And that's why
not even in a derby, you just can't. If you start supporting a team, that's it. That's the team you support. Thick or thin, diabolical or not diabolical, that's the team you support. You don't change like the weather.
There you go. DC puts the point perfectly. Walker can do one. He wants to return a trophy. Let's be having you then. Give us back a medal. I have to say I'm with DC on this one.
I say exactly. Of course you are. Anything against your up-to-date pet hate, Walker?
No, but look, Blue Heart.
There's a question for you, Anne-Marie McCarthy. Who's going to be your pet hate this season? Because you're getting fucking rid of them, rightly. Mara's gone, Walker's gone. Who's going to get your attention this season coming, do you think? Or are you going to wait for a few games?
Oh, I think I'm going to probably wait for a few games.
All right.
And
is anyone on the horizon?
Savinho.
Oh, Savinho
would be on the horizon. I think he has to do two things. He has to raise his game a little bit because I don't think he's on a par with Doku. And he has to learn that when he gets into the box, sometimes he has to make the final pass rather than shoot. Right. But they're just observations.
Did you email them observations to Pep?
I would happily make those observations to Pep.
Right. So has Savinho on his own or has he got company?
Well, at the minute, I'm only going off that. But it could be a point where there's other players involved. I don't know.
Right.
I have to just weigh it up a little bit at the start of the season.
So how many games has he got to prove himself?
Oh, he's not just got one or two. He's got a good few to. Well, I won't just turn on him straight away.
6?
I'd say 6, 7, yeah.
Right. I hope he's a good start to the season for his sake.
No, but the thing is, if he doesn't, there'll be somebody else to come in and take his place, won't there? And that's why I don't worry about that. But I just think, having watched him in the Club World Cup, I think one of Andy's favourite phrases was that, he would be complaining about Doku running up a blind alley. And I think Savinho does that quite a lot and doesn't, when you see him getting into the box, it's like his instinct is to shoot. And sometimes the better ball is to pass it to somebody who's in a better position. And that's just my observation.
But aren't goal scorers even if you talk to the ex-pros or listen to the ex-pros, goal scorers, strikers, people like that, they're the most selfish people on the planet.
I know, but he's not a striker. That's not his position. So if he's coming down the wing and cutting in or getting to the byline, he has to look and see who might well be in a better position than him. And that's what I don't think he does enough. But like I say, it's just my opinion.
Hopefully now the new backroom staff, Colo and what do you call the other fella? The Liverpool guy?
I don't know his name.
Hopefully they'll coach that, didn't they?
Well, let's hope so. There you go. Staffy Dave disagrees with me. Says that I'd give Savio a bit of a pass. He's only 21. But yes, he has to show a good improvement next season.
No, Anne-Marie. Say sorry, Staffy Dave.
I'm not saying sorry to Staffy Dave. Why do I need to?
Poor old Savinio. He's only 21. He's only a young pup. Finding his way in the world. Big bad Anne-Marie. You have 6 games, you're out.
Well,
you're like the Grim Reaper. Every player you turned against gets binned.
No, because if that had been the case, Gundogan would have gone this season. Gundogan still, for me, was a mistake to buy back or to bring back.
Yeah, I know, but I think as Andy and myself have pointed out on numerous occasions, what happened last season was a perfect storm. If it didn't happen, Gundogan wouldn't have played half the matches he played. Just he won't play half the matches, but he won't play a fraction of the matches.
No, and I know that's what you kept saying, and yet time and again, he was picked in the Club World Cup, and he was picked in the last game of the Club World Cup, and for me, it was a mistake.
Well, hopefully now, the team that starts the Premier League won't resemble what happened in that Club World Cup.
Oh, let's hope not. And I hope there's been no word at all about Rodri. So I just hope he's okay.
You better believe it.
Right.
Even though we have the players now, I know Rodri's a Rolls Royce, and any team would miss him. But at least now we have a bit in the background that can step in if he gets injured.
Yeah, and it was something that was really lacking last season. Because
it doesn't make sense that they don't replace a right back, I'm ready to be honest with
you. And that's the thing, Paddy. Even last season, it wasn't rocket science to know that we needed backup for Rodri. Because with the best will in the world, Kovacic isn't a Rodri.
No.
So we knew we needed backup of some description for him, and we'd never went out to get anything to cover him, and that was our downfall.
I would say we went out, but what we wanted wasn't available, or we were waiting.
No, but anybody we brought in wasn't even remotely close.
Who did we bring in? Once Rodri got injured, who did we bring in?
Well, no, we didn't bring anyone in till January, did we? But we had, if you think, we had people like, and not that he was ever anywhere near good enough to be in our team. We had Calvin Phillips. Yeah. And so you just kind of look at how much proper planning had we done in the last couple of seasons prior to this one had we done to look at what might we need?
I think they definitely, and it surprised me, to be honest with you, and I really mean that it surprised me. I think last season, for probably the first season in a very, very long time, that board were very complacent in their approach to that team. Very complacent. And they know it. And I think Caldoun alluded to it in his interview at the end of the season. Yeah. They were very complacent when it came to that team. It came back to bite them in the backside. They were lucky to get Europe because that was under threat at one stage. So I can't see that happening ever again.
No. And I think I put that down to the fact that they knew Tixie was going in summer. And they even, in the end, they brought that Vianney, or whatever his name is, Viana, in early to bed in with Tixie. So he's been with us since, I think, roughly January, February time, working alongside Tixie for this summer window. So I think that there was lots of different little things that were problems for us last season that hopefully we've now got our head around.
I wonder how many of them new signings, especially in the summer, were down to the new fella, the Viagra, whatever you call him.
Well, we're never really going to know that, are we? But if you look at I think if you look at most of the signing photos, he's the one that's with them.
Yeah.
I think. But I could be completely wrong on that.
Like, if you look at the blueprint, like when you zoom out and you have a look, that the players that they brought are quick, fast attacking flair players, maybe lacking that little bit defensively. And the coaches that they brought in, that Liverpool guy, the heavy metal football guy on their club, and then you see the training and the roaring and the shouting and the urgency. So there's a blueprint there.
Yeah, and I think it's I always assumed, and I could be completely talking out my backside, I always assumed we had a set piece coach before. But it was, well, I don't know whether we did or not, because when you look at some of our corners and things over the last few years, I'd have to say, no, we didn't. But now we've got this fella from that was at Liverpool with Klopp. So I would hope to see an improvement on our set pieces, be it corners, be it free kicks, be it defensively from these as well. I'd like to think that we'll see an improvement.
But for me, you just identified another problem in modern day football. You shouldn't know who the first team or the set piece coach is. You should only know the manager and the assistant manager, and that's it. Now, Sky Sports, when there's a corner, they're zooming into the Arsenal set piece coach or that set piece coach. Get a life. There's the manager, there's the assistant manager, and that's it. It's just a modern day phenomenon. Everyone needs to know every member of the staff. Jesus.
God, there's that many at City nowadays. I've got no idea who works there and who doesn't. There's that many of them.
No, and I don't want to know them, to be fairly blunt. I don't want to know about them. I couldn't care less about them. They're there to do a job, do it, and get on with it.
I don't even know who Pep's assistant is.
But we know it's the Cole Torrey and your man, the Liverpool guy, who we have to kind of acknowledge through gritted teeth. Old wounds heap slow hammering.
I know. It's a shame, isn't
it? He has a bit to do before he gets a bit of
before he gets accepted. The other pet, there you go. The other pet house captain says.
Yeah. He'll need more than 6 games to convince me, Anne-Marie.
He'll take more than 6 games to convince me as well. And so will Colo Torre. Yeah, the only fella who can get banned for taking diet drugs. I mean, dear God.
His wife.
Yes. And I don't, looking at him on the bench, I don't think they did him any favours.
Apparently, he has another job on the side there as a car salesman too.
Mm-hmm. Right, folks. I don't know. Has anyone got anything else they want to add? We should be. Stop taking them, house captain said. Yeah, well, he can't get drug tested anymore, house captain, so we should go back on him. We should be back to, well, good news or bad news, I'm not so sure, but we should have Andy back next week.
Jesus.
I know, but we can't keep him in Benidorm. Well, Benidorm could keep him for all I care, but I don't think they want him.
Don't keep it.
He just so everybody knows, on the day that he goes on holiday, the first thing he does is usually roughly about 6 o'clock in the morning. He sends the group a photo, sends the group a picture of him with a pint, drinking it in the airport, and that's what we get every day after while he's on holiday. Is pictures of him drinking pints. And
thanks to Anne-Marie, because he's probably watching, he'll probably fill the group now with fucking about 25 million photographs.
Exactly. That's probably very true. So, folks, Andy should be back next week. More's the pity. And as always, Paddy, thanks for joining me. We kept it going in some shape or form. And thanks to everybody in the chat. And for anybody who was asking earlier, there's no big reveal, but there's the new shirt. Hopefully, when you don't like it?
No.
Well, hopefully when the black one comes out.
Oh, I like the black one. I'm getting
that.
Yes,
I will be getting
my contact there in the club shop for a bit of discount.
I will be getting that one as well. But thanks for everyone for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Have a good week, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Bye.